Yo, check it. All right, y'all, we got your weekly outlook and prediction. Look, we're going to be looking at how if SPY dumps, AMC and GME could absolutely pump. So you want to watch the end of this video, especially the section on SPY. We talk about the market rotation and how you can make money off of that. We talk about the macroeconomics and we talk about the meme stocks and what we expect to see for this week based off the charts, facts, and data. But let's not waste any more time and hop in and show y'all exactly what's going on. Let's go.
All right, y'all, what is up? You are back for another video with Datazero. This is your weekly outlook and prediction where we look at stocks and crypto on the bigger time frame and give you guys and girls a weekly outlook and prediction on what I'm expecting from the charts. This video is not financial advice and should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock or crypto asset. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and hop in the charts, the facts, the data, showing y'all what we have going on for this week. So I just want to quickly start off with the data drops. Just a very light week for this week. All we do have is ISM, but you want to pay attention to last week's data drops because unemployment is creeping up and we are seeing the Fed possibly getting ready to cut rates. Remember, rate cuts doesn't mean automatic market pump. It does mean that a recession potentially is coming. Normally, once the Fed cuts rates, and I've showed this on charts on the channel during the live streams, what happens after that, a recession comes. And when you see unemployment start to plateau, bottom, and push to the upside, a recession comes. It's not doom and gloom. It's getting you prepared. That way you can buy things for the low, like used cars, houses, whatever the case may be, depending on what your capital is, stocks. Everything's going to be possibly coming down, and you can scoop that up and then ride it up to the next boom cycle. It's not doom and gloom. It's how do I make money off of this information. Now, I want to quickly go into GameStop Technicals and show you all what's going on with GameStop Technicals. Then we're going to look at AMC and what I'm expecting for this week. So GameStop is in a falling wedge from this overall top of this $29.99 top. So as far as the fractal is concerned on GameStop, I am a little bit disturbed on a couple things I'm seeing. I'm going to tell you the good and the bad of what we're looking at as far as the fractal is concerned. And again, if people are still pushing the fractals, if they do deviate under certain price targets, I would not listen to them because these fractals do eventually deviate and they do decouple at some point, but they are useful as long as they track. You can see it track perfectly here, but it seems right now that this potential rally may have got shorted down. We have this big push to the upside. We were expecting to get a higher pop than that, and this may have negated that rally, and it looks like we might be on this downside trend where we find a bottom and push to the upside. I want to see if that is the case. We would get a decent pop to the upside if we do break out of this falling wedge. So it does look like the fractal still could be attacked, but we could be in a later stage than we do believe. And this third rally that we thought we were going to get to that $45, $55 level might not be on the table. Now, if we can break back above $30 for GameStop, which would be the breakout target of this overall falling wedge, again, we're going over the good and the bad, we could see that potential rally because, again, once GameStop breaks over $30, it sees big pushes to the upside. And again, you can see that it's happened here and here. Once we broke above that $30 level, we got a big push to the upside. It's a major level of support and resistance. We got rejected from it here. We got a major move to the downside. Whenever you bounce off of those major levels, you get a major push up or a major move down, depending if you use it on support or resistance. So that time we got rejected. If we can get a bounce out of that overall falling wedge, pushing us to the upside of the overall target of $30, breaking above, using that as support, you could see that move to higher highs. So we are looking at that for GameStop. And of course, when in doubt, zoom out. You can see that the macro does look good. Now, weekly MACD is curling down and potentially going red. So we could see a little bit more downside for GameStop as far as the overall macro is concerned. But I would be expecting a move back to the upside as we are breaking out of this overall falling wedge here on the macro. And we're starting to make an overall uptrend. Green monthly MACD, which is very, very important. I believe a bull cycle is coming for the meme stocks where you see the meme stocks start to trend up over time. And again, GameStop still has this gap fill at $71. So I do expect that liquidity zone to get filled, and I'm expecting GameStop to push the upside. Similar to what you've seen here with Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin broke out of a massive falling wedge. This is how I called for the Bitcoin bull run, which we'll be talking about crypto in the later stages of this video. But the same thing you see here, you see Bitcoin start to get this green monthly MACD, then you get a push to the upside after breaking out of the falling wedge, and then you get to an overall higher high eventually, which means GameStop could follow the same pattern and break a overall higher high. So again, when in doubt, zoom out, try not to get caught up in the everyday movements and look at the bigger picture. I do think the macro is improving on GameStop as far as technicals is concerned and fundamentals, as it's sitting on a huge pile of cash as well. Both AMC and GME's fundamentals are improving, and we're seeing macro technicals improve. These are very good signs that these stocks are bottoming and starting to make a bottom and start to move to the upside. Now, GameStop has been kind of following SPY as well over the past couple of weeks, moving to the downside, but I believe we're going to break out of this falling wedge. There's a gap fill to the downside here. I think GameStop might attempt to fill that gap. It looks like we are showing signs of a possible bottom, but I want to see it confirmed by breaking out of this falling wedge. If GameStop can break back above 22.32, then we are back in the game. Again, I think this gap fill down here at about 20.05 to about 19.87 is in effect and could potentially get touched here. I think what we're going to see is bearishness in the beginning half of the week and then a move to the upside. But unfortunately, I think it is going to be a red week for GameStop. So I think GameStop is going to get one more red week of bleeding to the downside, and then we're going to get that push to the upside that we're looking for, and then potentially get a second green wave of weekly MACD. We want to see if weekly MACD remains green. If not, we could see a little bit more downside before we see that overall recovery. But I do think GameStop is going to be in a overall uptrend as far as I am concerned. So that's what I'm looking at for GameStop. Unfortunately, I do think it is going to be a red week. I have to keep it real with you guys on this channel, and I do think we're going to see a little bit more downside for GameStop coming down to fill that gap fill, and then breaking out of this falling wedge, and then possibly moving up to these higher highs. Breakout target of the falling wedge would be this $25 level to about $25.93, and then we have the ultimate target of $30, and if we can break and hold $30, you could see a decent pop to the upside for GME stock. RSI extremely oversold on these higher time frames. This is where smart people will be stepping in to buy up the stock, and I do believe GameStop will be getting a bounce in my personal opinion. So that's what we're looking at for GameStop. Overall red week, because I do think we're gonna have to come down and make a little bit more low, but then we will start making a recovery in my personal opinion. So let's go ahead and look at what's going on for AMC. Just quickly going over the data real quick for AMC and GME. 950,000 short shares available to short for AMC. GME, again, they have a huge amount of short shares because of that recent dilution. What it does is destroy cost to borrow and allow liquidity to flow. You can see that 2.8 million short shares are available to short for GME, and that is a tough battle. GME's cost to borrow is low as well. And again, I am not bearish on GME or GME bear. I'm simply telling you the facts right now. After we got that dilution on GME stock, I hold GME stock. We've seen cost to borrow drop. We want to see cost to borrow start to go back up like it did for AMC. So AMC had dilution. The cost to borrow dropped and fell off a cliff for a long time, but it did eventually start to go back up. We want to see that happen for GME stock. Cost to borrow for AMC right now coming down slightly at 2.89%. We want to see the cost to borrow elevated, because when cost to borrow goes up, price goes up, and we have seen that before. I've showed you last time when we seen the spike to the upside, 513, 516. That is when AMC made a nice move to the upside. You can see that's when we made that 400% run around 514, 513, around that time when we got that huge spike in cost to borrow. Now, as far as technicals are concerned for AMC, we could see a possible retest of $4.50. So I want everyone to be prepared for that. If we did break below the levels of $4, I would say the fractal is invalidated. Again, we have been following the fractal, and I have to give you the good and bad news. If we broke below the level of $4, I would say the fractal is invalidated. AMC has been making higher low after higher low after higher low in this overall consolidation range. And if we were to draw an overall sloping support and resistance here, you would see that it's almost making a possible bull flag. We want to be very, very careful. If AMC were to break above that $6 level, man, we would absolutely see a pump to the upside. So as far as GME and AMC are concerned, I do think the fractals are still in play, and it is very, very strange that they have these sell orders waiting up here at around $9 to $12. Again, these are literally orders being waiting to sell, shares being waited to sell at those levels. So those are sell orders at those levels there. You can see that there's a massive amount of sell orders here at these levels. They do not want AMC stock above these levels. We keep coming up and pushing into these sell walls, trying to get above them. If we do manage to break above, you would see a significant move to the upside. The same way if GameStop broke above $30, if AMC can break and hold $6, you're going to see a big pop to the upside. It's a major level of support and resistance. You can see that we used it as support here. We rocketed to the upside. We used it as resistance here. We dumped to the downside. You bounce hard off of those major levels. $6 for AMC, $30 for GME. Now, AMC might come back down for, again, $4.50 retest. Be prepared for that, but we could see an overall consolidation and a bigger move up. I do think we are going to be able to squeeze out a green week for AMC because we closed so low here. I think we might see a little bit downside the same way for GameStop in the beginning half of the week, but then by the later half of the week start to push to the upside, giving us an overall green week. But I don't think it's going to be a huge green week. It's going to be like a green week like when I called the green week here. It's going to be something like that. You see we got the red week here. I'm calling for a green week here. And I think if we keep consolidating, okay, if we keep consolidating, so not this week, but possibly next week, we could potentially start to see that push to the upside towards that $6 level. I think this week is going to be more consolidation, more in just sideways action in this range. I would love to be wrong. There is always that possibility of breaking above that $6 level and getting a pop to the upside, and we are in this overall bull flag type structure. So I would like to see that move to the upside, but I think we need to see a little bit more consolidation in my personal opinion. I don't want to see us drop below that $4 level because that would invalidate the fractal. I do think there is a possibility of a $4.50 retest for AMC. Now, as far as the technicals are concerned for what we could potentially see on Monday, we did break above this sloping support and resistance here, showing that this overall downtrend from $5.40 could potentially be ending. I'm expecting to see consolidation here pre-market. We had earnings here after hours. We got this big pop to the upside. Overall ended up pretty much flat. We did stream earnings. It was pretty much a nothing burger. Adam Aaron was talking forever. It was absolutely insane, and you guys were hilarious in the comments. But yeah, so it was pretty much a nothing burger. We were waiting to see if we got any type of announcements or anything like that, but it is good that we didn't dump for earnings. We did just hold our levels, and we are still in this overall consolidation range. Getting that pop to the upside is a sign of strength, and there is a gap fill around $5.08 to $5.10. So there's a gap fill to the upside for AMC, which is bullish. I think we could see a recovery here, maybe Tuesday, probably Monday consolidation, and then Tuesday pop to the upside. But do be aware of that possible $4.50 retest. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC. Unfortunately, I think it is going to be a green week for AMC, red week for GME. Let's move in to SPY and then go into Bitcoin and then wrap up this video. So SPY has been moving to the downside. We did call for a red week last week, and that is what we got. We got a big red week as QQQ absolutely popped off to the upside. You can see making a nice move here with a 8% green week here on SQQQ. And this is just really what a taste of what could happen if this bubble really does start to pop. This bubble has not popped yet, but if it does continue to move to the downside, things are going to get ugly quick as people begin to panic sell. I don't think we've seen panic selling yet, but I think if we do get one more red week, which is what I'm calling for, we are going to start seeing panic selling. So not this week, but next week, things could get crazy if we get another week of selling like this. And I do think that is what we're going to get, unfortunately. Again, this is not doom and gloom. This is just helping you make money off of the information. I think people are rotating out of the overvalued tech stocks like Nvidia, Amazon, Microsoft. You can see that earnings are coming down for these stocks. The valuations were simply not sustainable, and that's why I kept saying this is a bubble. This is a bubble. Also, people are not really even using AI. This is more reasons I said this is hype. This is speculation, and they took that speculation and ran it up. That's what these people do. They make money. Now they're going to cash out at the top and rotate into small and mid cap stocks like AMC and GME. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but they're going to rotate into small mid cap stocks, which if you look at those, most of them are oversold, low RSI. They're going to rotate out of these overbought all-time high stocks and move into those lower stocks, and that's going to make their profits into more profits. They're rotating out of the tech stocks and into small and mid cap stocks, which will perform better during the rate cuts. So that's why we're seeing this shift in overall momentum, and why I think we're going to see SPY and NASDAQ start to pull back, and why we're going to see small and mid cap stocks start to do very, very well. So overall, I think we are going to see downside for SPY. What you could see here on Monday is overall consolidation here in the morning. We could get a potential pop to the upside. We have this bearish pennant here, which could lead us a drop to the downside. If SPY breaks below 530.01, expect a lot more downside. I'm expecting SPY to actually get a pop to the upside, filling this gap here. It has a gap fill here on the bigger time frames from about 536 to 539. I'm expecting it to go up and fill that gap and then get a continuation to the downside. So probably bullishness around Monday and Tuesday, and then start to move back to the downside and resume this overall downtrend is what I'm expecting for SPY, giving us a overall red week. And I do think if we see more bleeding this week, it's going to start causing panic selling possibly at the end of this week or later next week, which things could get ugly. Again, I think SPY and NASDAQ are going to be pulling back. I think they're going to be rotating out of these overvalued stocks and into these smaller mid-cap stocks, which is going to benefit AMC and GME. And again, this is why I think we're starting to see the macro for AMC and GME start to improve. Now, if the market really did start to tank, AMC and GME might follow SPY for a little bit, but if we got maximum capitulation, it could send AMC and GME flying. So you can see here, and I'm not saying AMC and GME are Volkswagen, but I'm showing here just from historical facts that when liquidity dries up, you can see short squeezes. You see how Volkswagen started to trend up as the market started to trend down, and I'm going to show you SPY's chart. Then it got a big drop to the downside and then absolutely ripped. Now, this happened in 2008. You can see October's when it got the big move to the upside. Well, right here, SPY's chart from 2008. As you can see here, October is when we got maximum capitulation. As the market started to trend down, you can see that Volkswagen started to trend up. Then the market capitulated and Volkswagen absolutely took off. Look what the meme stocks are doing right now. They are starting to trend up. They are starting to bottom. Now, I'm not saying they are Volkswagen, but I'm saying this could be a sign of liquidity drying up. That's why we're seeing cost to borrow go up as well. You're seeing AMC and GME in an overall uptrend, while SPY is in a overall downtrend. If we see capitulation, the meme stocks have a true chance of actually making a real move. If you want to see a real short squeeze, you want margin calls to happen, you want chaos, you want liquidity drying up. Unfortunately, that's what you would have to see a huge short squeeze. So if we did see SPY absolutely start to dump, you could see the meme stocks make a pop, and I want everyone to be aware of that and know that there is historical context to show that this is a real thing, and I'm not just pulling it off the top of my head. So that's what I'm looking at for SPY. I think we're going to see an overall red week as the rotation continues to happen. Let's go ahead and move into Bitcoin and then wrap up this video. Bitcoin is dumping as expected. What I'm looking for is Bitcoin to confirm my overall prediction, bounce. So I'm expecting it to bounce around these ranges. You can see that I expected to drop down to these lows using this fractal here. Basically, you can see that was my prediction, dropping down to the 58K level. You can see that we're getting a bounce now, but I want to see a higher low. As long as we make a higher low and stay above this overall trend line, I believe that the Bitcoin bull run is intact and we're going to see a higher high for BTC. I believe that this is just shakeouts to the downside. I think there are a lot of good things. I think crypto is becoming a whole industry as far as the ETFs are concerned. We're seeing inflows do very, very well. I think that the asset is maturing and I think it's going to perform very, very well, similar to how gold does. And I do think, yes, we are potentially moving into recession or depressionary times based off the macroeconomic data. But I think that Bitcoin will perform very, very well because it is a store of wealth. And I think that people are starting to realize that. And once you realize what Bitcoin really is, that it has a fixed cap, it cannot be controlled, it cannot be printed, people understand that it's not going to get inflated out of control like the US dollar. And that's why people will start to flee into it. When you see times like the banks start to drop off and stuff like that, we've seen Bitcoin start to pop off. So I believe Bitcoin is maturing and turning into the asset that it was truly meant to be. I do think we are going to see a little bit more downside, but I want to see if we get a bounce. And if we bounce and hold this overall trend line, I do think we are going to come up for that retest of 72K. If we break and hold 72K, that's when we're going to see a pop to the upside for a new all-time high, possibly as high as 75 to 80K on BTC. But BTC overall is still tracking. I know people are really scared. It could dump to the downside lower. I'm not saying that's not possible. I want to see a confirmation of a higher low. That would give me confidence that my prediction is going to track, and we are on track, and this is just a pullback that I expected. If we break below 50K, that would obviously invalidate my prediction, and we don't want to see the loss of 50K on BTC. But overall, when the macro is concerned of BTC, if you look, Bitcoin has done nothing but go up over time. And I think that's going to be the continued case. It's done nothing but going up over time, and I think that's going to be the continued case for BTC. I also think Ethereum does have a very good opportunity here, possible little bit of a shakeout. It is breaking down out of this overall bull flag type structure. I don't want to see that because this could be a possible double top bringing us to the downside on Ethereum. I want to see Bitcoin and Ethereum get a bounce. If Bitcoin gets a bounce, Ethereum will get a bounce, maintaining this overall bull flag structure and possibly popping to the upside later down the road. That's what I'm looking at for the overall weekly outlook and prediction. If you watch to the end of the video, I truly appreciate it. If you want to check out the merch store, you can. I am rocking some of the merch right now. The link is in the comment section and description, and there is new stuff coming out all the time. Again, we got on the merch right now, Datazero. So you already know what it is, man. I appreciate it if you watch to the end of this video, and have a great weekend. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.
Alright, y'all, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like, press subscribe for more content like this, and I appreciate y'all if you'll watch to the end of this video to see the entire video in its full context and get the bigger picture of everything going on. As always, man, have fun, stay safe, make money.